Hello, 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 and welcome. So today I will be doing a African tribal inspired art piece, wall decor, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to call it a painting because the only painting involved in this project was just the background. That's it, just the background, and that is easy, not hard to mess up at all. In the description box, I will list the materials that you need. I'm not going to go into details about like brands or whatever or colors because I really encourage you to do your own color scheme. Um, yeah, and honestly, I would just recommend the acrylic from Walmart. This little Apple brand right here from Walmart. It's like 129 or something like that. And honestly, like, it's when I run out of a color, I go to this brand, to tell you the truth, because it does it for me. I use it on canvases, I've used it on cotton sweaters, it does the job. Yeah, I was trying to go for a Lion King theme, so like a golden orange, a yellow, and I got a brown that I wanted to just mud up a little bit with the black. But yeah, do any color that you want, any color scheme. Just have a light, a medium, and a dark. So my light is yellow, my medium's orange, and my dark is going to be this custom brown that I'm making. You can do pink, purple, blue, green, blue, yellow, black, white, and gray. You name it. Just make it your style, whatever goes with your flow in your home, or whatever fits the personality of the person you're giving it to. And it doesn't even have to be the same color scheme. You could do blue, white, and black. So this is what I am going to make in this video. Okay, so I'm gonna add a little bit of white and black to my palette, just in case like the colors don't meld out the way that I want it to, or the way I envisioned it would. This is the brand of the canvas, if you were wondering. Any canvas would work, honestly, but I got that from Michael's because they always have a sale or a coupon, to be honest. Yeah, and on the palette, the paint palette, I put the plastic that comes wrapped around the canvas because, as you can see, when I put it on that wooden thing, it dries really fast and it's difficult to remove, and it's just a pain to wash and it takes forever to dry. So I now take the plastic wrap from my canvas, wrap it around there, and when I'm done, I just throw it out. There's no cleaning to do. All I gotta do is wash my brushes, and that's super easy with acrylic paint. And I also have like a glass palette, but I have that for oil paint, and my oil paints are wicked expensive, so I'm not trying to try those out. But the glass palette is also wicked expensive, so I'm not gonna use it on cheap paint. So that's a whole nother subject. So right now, I'm just going back and forth. Before, you see that little yellow, that little test strip that I did, that was because originally I wanted to do a sunset theme. I wanted to go to orange, yellow, white, and then like a black floor. Like, you know, I wanted Lion King vibes, but I don't know, I changed my mind last minute and I just wanted texture. So I went back and forth with my base color. And after I'm done with this base color, I'm going to go in and add texture with the other colors and a brush technique. Make sure you get the corners. You don't have to get them all the way through if you're going to use the technique that I use at the end. So now I have them here. And like, as you can see, I'm taking the yellow. I thought I was in the frame, sorry, but I took the yellow and not too much. I didn't wet the brush. I just got a little pigment in there and wiped excess off of it, and I made a T. I just made a bunch of T's, and I didn't make them straight across because you don't want it straight across. It's not going to give you that nice textured look. It's going to look too uniformed. So what I start doing is once I do it straight across, I start working in diagonal, as you can see. And I just do T brush strokes. I just keep going. And I kind of want the brush strokes to show. I kind of want the yellow to pop. But like I said, you see, I showed you in the palette how I just thinned it out because I want the pigment. I don't want thick acrylic. You could do thick acrylic if that's your style, but it will not dry under 30 minutes and this project will take you forever. And another tip is, because I want to hang these in the same room or give it up to someone else who may hang it in the same room, I want the two to be cohesive and different at the same time. Well, I guess that's what cohesive means, right? They're different but similar. So I put the palette next to each other. Not the palette, the canvas. I put the canvas next to each other so that the colors would balance. You'll see what I mean when I start going in with darker colors. But yeah, just go in that T motion over and over again until you feel like, I'm happy with this. But you don't want to do too much where it's no longer orange. So now I'm doing the other canvas. And like I can gauge if I put too much yellow in the other, more than the other. Instead of doing one and then I put the other one away and work on the other, then they would kind of be off balance. So that's why I have them both together, like such. And if you get a little heavy-handed, like you see I did there, just do an orange T over the yellow. Or you could just wipe the brush dry and then do a T over and get rid of the excess paint. So now for my dark color, I ended up mixing the orange and the brown instead. The brown custom, and I put a little orange in it because it was a little too dark. And I just randomly did these lines. I did the lines first because I kind of wanted to dry out just a little bit, nothing too serious. And now I do a different motion. I go up and down, side to side, then an X. Up and down, side to side, and then an X. Up and down, side to side, and then an X. This is gonna give it depth. This is gonna give it like that antique feel, that real traditional vibe. That texture is just beautiful. I love this color combo. It came out way much better than I envisioned. Up and down, side to side, then an X. And see, you can gauge, like, is one more darker than the other? You know, do it side by side, trust me. Now I'm going to do the ground here because we want the animals to be walking on something. They don't really have to. Like I said, this is an abstract piece. Come on now. It doesn't have to be literal. But I want a floor. And I don't want it even. And this is another reason I have it side by side. Your floors won't be too dramatic, different heights. Okay, so this is the brand of cardstock paper that I got. I got it from Staples. I mean, you can use any, but I haven't used any other brand. At least I know this one, when I put Mod Podge or paint on it, it doesn't crumble up and lift. It is good, sturdy cardstock, and I can also use the other colors to print cards and whatnot with it. So here I'm using packaging tape. You can use any tape, and a binder. So this will help me keep my layers together as I cut out my shape. So I'm going to go over here and cut this out. Now, I got this off Google, and she was a little skinnier. When I put it in Microsoft Word now, I expanded it, the width, not only the height, but the width, I expanded a little more just to give her a little shape, you know, little. She was shapely. Let me not downplay her. She was shapely. But I just wanted her a little thick. You know what I mean? Just a little thick. Now, I was salty here because I pressed down so hard and I thought, like, for sure I could just pop this out. That was not the case, but it's okay because I needed the outline anyways. Um, but I wouldn't recommend doing this project on computer paper or something. You can try it, but I just feel like once you put Mod Podge for the glue, it will just like crumble up and just not, it would just take away from the beauty, you know? So over here, I'm using small scissors, and notice how like I use the bottom end of the scissors to cut more, so I feel like I have more control than using the tip. So I take my time and try to use the bottom. So here I'm going to use the exacto knife to help me clean up any like crunchy looking areas, even though the glitter will really like disguise that, to be honest, but whatever, you know, if you can make it better, make it better. And I'm using the exacto knife to get inside, and I'm pressing so hard. Like, look at the exacto knife, it's like shaking. I'm pressing so hard, and like it just would not give. It would not. I got it out, but like imagine trying to cut that whole thing that hard. My hands would hurt. It would be a 2-day project. Yeah, so I finished cutting that out, put it to the side. Then I started on my other piece, which is another image I got from Google. Now this one's a little different. I'm just gonna cut out the shape of her head and neck and shoulders, and I'm gonna do the hair wrap differently, separately, and differently actually. So I'm gonna use a different paper. I still use the exacto knife because it gave me a nice outline to trace. And now I'm gonna cut the head wrap off. I cut it out in one piece and put it to the side. You can see it over there in the corner. Now I'm just showing you what I use. Honestly, I could have used wrapping paper, but this was 50% off at Michael's. It's one of those iron adhesive things, probably for a Cricut machine, but it still did the job. I'm not mad at it, but you could use wrapping paper, honestly. So now I'm just doing the perimeter of the hair wrap, but not the top where I got the tape, because I still need it held down and secure. And the print was driving me insane. Like, it was making my eyes twitch. No, I'm being dramatic, but no, it was a little difficult to find where the folds were, so that's why I took that marker and drew where I wanted to cut, so I can speed up the process. And this paper was thick too. Like, I don't know, maybe I need a new blade for my exacto knife, but this one's fairly new and it still works better than my other one, so I don't know what's going on. Any sharper, man, like I will cut myself. Like, this can cut me already, but whatever. And I would recommend, never mind, this glitter right here I got from Michael's. I got a thick black glitter, and then I got like teeny little shimmers of gold, and I used that mix for a previous project a few months ago and had leftover of the mix, and I buy these little jars for 99 cents at Michael's. So I put in my leftover mixture of glitter, and I just recycle them for another project like this. Like, yeah. Put the Mod Podge on a scrap piece of cardstock paper. And I put a little bit of glitter in there. I really don't have a rhyme or reason. I just, every time I use Mod Podge, this is my method and it works. The only thing I did differently here that I usually do on other Mod Podge projects that I do is I didn't seal it 100%. Usually I let it dry completely, 100%, and then go in with another layer of just Mod Podge and water to seal it so that when you touch it, the glitter doesn't come out. But with this project, I didn't want to use water. And two, it will be hung on a wall, so people shouldn't really be touching it. So that really shouldn't be too much of an issue. So I also got these stickers over at Michael's, and it was in the scrapbooking section. And I'm gonna spray paint them black to go with the silhouette theme that I have going on. So this is my silhouette flipped upside down, the glitter down, and I'm gonna put some E6000 in the back. Now you don't want to squeeze the tube too hard where it's globbing out, because mind you, when you push it down to the canvas, it will seep through and it'll dry clear but thick and shiny. So do thin layers of E6000. Make sure you get nice thin layers around the corner as well. I like to do the perimeter and then do a few spots in the middle personally. And then I know I was talking about all those thin layers or whatever, but I did get a little heavy-handed in the middle, so I took this little 99-cent sponge. You can get at Dollar Tree, Michael's, whatever, even Walmart. They're really cheap. And I spread it out, and the sponge has nothing on it. You want to be careful not to get glue on your glove. That way when you touch the canvas, you're not leaving little finger glove prints or whatever of glue. And all the fallout glitter won't fall into the prints of glue that you leave behind either. So I'm just gonna give it a light tap, just lightly tap it. I do the corners first. Make sure all those edges and corners are laid, okay? No lifting. This is not gonna lift. Not with no E6000. I also take not a toothpick. I take a Q-tip and I just clean up any excess glue that might have squeezed out. You want to do that ASAP. Luckily, E6000 doesn't dry right away like a hot glue gun. I wouldn't even recommend a hot glue gun for this. This would be so messy. Like, hot glue guns like get like stringy. I'm not a fan of hot glue guns. I use them, but if necessary. I'm just not a fan. It's just more messy for me. Maybe I just don't know how to use it, or I just need a better brand. Now, I spray painted this, but I think you could get away with just painting it, because I noticed I did one coat. I should have did 2 coats, but I live in New England. It's too cold for that, and I couldn't ventilate. So, like, yeah, I was spray painting inside. Not recommended. But yeah, so I didn't do the second coat, even though that was like only 30 seconds of spraying. But I felt like my fingertips were warming up the pigment, and it was like smudging off every time I touched it, lifted off the sticker and put it on the canvas. So you're gonna see later on I went in with some glue to touch it up. And another thing about these stickers is some of them come with like 2 layers to give it a 3D effect. You can just peel the top layer off and it won't make a difference at all. Or you could keep it and paint it all black and have a little 3D effect. That's up to you. I didn't want that. I wanted my queen to stand out. I didn't need anyone in the background trying to scream and shout. No, 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 no. Stay in the background. Let her show out. Okay? So I used another dry brush just to press it down because, like I said, like my hands, I think they were warming up the black, like, spray paint. So this is where I went in with the acrylic. No water, just acrylic on its own and a dry brush to paint it on because I wanted it to still kind of be matte, and it kind of stayed matte a little bit. Not as matte as the spray paint. And you could get matte acrylic paint, but it's not necessary. It still comes out nice. Now I got this little bling peel and stick from Micheal's as well. And I'm just gonna lay it down here. No rhyme or reason, I just want it there. You can also place another one at the top going across. I think that would look cute. But I just want it just like that. So now I'm starting on this girl. We're gonna glue, same thing. Make sure you get the corners, thin layers, yeah, blah, blah, blah. But with this, you guys are gonna see how I made a little mistake with the hair wrap. And I think I can explain it better once the pieces are out. So here I am tapping the corner like so. And I'm just using the fan brush to get the access. Now I'm taking the head wrap and I'm putting the puzzle together. Now notice how when it's laying like that, all the patterns line up. Now if you naturally wrap your hair, the patterns do not line up. So what I should have did, instead of cutting that one big piece, I should have cut them all out in a small piece on the printed paper. The paper that I came out the printer with the artwork, right? And then I should have laid them on the patterned paper in different areas so that the patterns didn't match up. So when I realized this, that I messed up and it was just gonna look like one big helmet, I tried to, you know, kind of fix the situation by like leaving gaps between each space so there's a line. It kind of worked and it kind of didn't. I'm not mad at it. It's obviously like one of those things like no one really noticed unless you pointed it out. So maybe I shouldn't have said nothing. But like, kind of, if I'm going to show how I did something, I might as well tell you how you can do better, right? And I really like that outcome on this. So I might make more for myself and other people. So yeah. I will do better next time. But here's where I realized like it's looking like a hat. So I hurried up and smooth it out, try to rub any excess glue out. And yeah. And before I put the glue on, I just lay it down to make sure like, okay, this piece does in fact go here. And then I realized, like, I don't have enough space. I put her too high up. I just kind of, like, plopped her on there. There was no real rhyme or reason. And I didn't want to move the silhouette around too much because I didn't want the glue all over the canvas. Like I said, it will catch the excess glitter and stay there forever. And I didn't want that. And that's partially because I was lazy and didn't want to seal the glitter and wait for it to dry again. So that's on me. But look at the glitter. It's so nice. I just like glitter. I like glitter. I just don't like cleaning up glitter or trying to get rid of glitter because you can't. Okay? You can't. Glitter will snitch on you, okay? You know what I mean? It will snitch on you. Anyways, yeah, now I'm adding this giraffe here, and I can add more of these stickers at the bottom. Now, I had seen later on some of these stickers lift. They didn't bother me too much. I feel like over time, with warm temperatures in the house, like it'll just stick and adhere better. Like press it down nice and firm with that clean sponge brush, right? But if you still have problems lifting, just a little E6000 will hold it down. Or tack glue, honestly. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. And like this tree, I could see a little green peeking through, so I went in with the brush and I like kind of tapped it on the tree to give it some texture, so that the gloss paint and the matte paint would have some contrast. Then I wanted bling wrap on here because we wanted a nice cohesive look. And I love like stickers and bling and stuff like that that's on a clear plastic, because like I could just hold it up to my canvas and estimate where I want to go with it. I ended up moving these two, and it left a little black smudge, but that's okay because the bling wrap will disguise that. And you can cut this if it's too big for your canvas, or if your canvas is much bigger, you can add another and then cut the extra off of that. Yes, there we go. Now press it down because I think my gloves were just dirty at this point and I didn't want to mess up anything. Okay. Now what I'm doing is adding some E6000 at the top and bottom. You could do the whole length, but I don't trust myself to make a straight line that long, so I just did the top and bottom. And also to cover the exposed edges, I use this little gold foil tape from Amazon. I will find the link of that and put it down because I love it. I love the shade of gold that it is. I just love it. It does the job. I haven't had experience with it lifting off of any of my canvases. I like to finish the edges with it. Makes it look really clean. Yes, I want to get this in like black, white, pink, silver. Yes, because this would have been nice in black as well. Then I cut the corners so they can lay nice and flat on top of each other and seal on top of each other. And I press all the air bubbles out because I'm trying to mock a gold frame. So this is what it looked like when I had it drying before putting the gold tape around it. I love glitter. Like, it's so pretty. And this is without. No, this is with the gold tape around it. And like you can see the gold tape reflecting on the paper. I have it drying on like old Christmas paper on the floor right now. But yeah, this is the finished product. I really like it. It came out better than what I expected. The hair wrap I could have done better, but that's just like 1 point off. Like, otherwise I really like it. And when it's 100% dry, I would brush off the extra glitter. And this is the finished product. And if you made it this far, you might as well go ahead and subscribe because you will miss out. I'm telling you, I am only improving. go ahead and subscribe.